So, what if I told you that spirituality isn't about rules, rituals, or even religion? That it's something much simpler, something deeply personal. For many of us, especially women navigating big life transitions, that connection to something bigger than ourselves can be life changing. If you've been feeling lost, stuck, or like something's missing, this episode is for you. Today on Hearth Talks, we're diving into spirituality on a very basic level, what it is, why it matters, and how you can start discovering your spiritual path. Hi, I'm Diane Hatz, and this is a space where we can explore transformation, connection, and purpose, all through the lens of creativity, wellness, and community. So to start, what is spirituality? At its core, spirituality is about connection and kindness to yourself, to others, and to something greater than yourself. Unlike religion, which is structured around specific beliefs and practices, spirituality is more fluid. It's about what resonates with you. It might involve traditional practices like meditation or prayer, but it could also be as simple as feeling awe when you watch a sunrise or finding gratitude in your daily life. The key is that it's personal. No single path is right for everyone. So why does spirituality matter? Science backs up what many spiritual seekers already know. Practicing spirituality can improve your mental and emotional well-being. A 2017 study in psychology of religion and spirituality found that people with a strong spiritual connection report greater life satisfaction and resilience. In times of uncertainty, whether it's perimenopause, job loss, or shifting relationships, spirituality can be an anchor. And I'm sorry, I just had to record that like 4 times because I couldn't say uncertainty. Anyway, spirituality can be an anchor for us. It offers a way to find clarity, direction, and inner peace. So there's many ways to explore spirituality. I'm going to mention just a few. There's Buddhism, like Zen Buddhism and Tibetan Buddhism, and I might do videos on them separately at some point. But they both offer rich traditions of meditation, mindfulness, and self-discovery. You can get involved with them in a structured way, so they're more like a religion, but you can also use them to explore yourself and your place in the universe. They're philosophies for a more centered life. There's nature-based spirituality, so feeling connected to the earth, whether it's through time in nature, rituals, or seasonal awareness, that can be deeply, deeply spiritual. Forest bathing is a popular Japanese practice that you can try. All you need to do, turn off all your devices. I know it's hard to leave a cell phone at home, so don't just mute it. Turn the power off. And you can carry that with you, but don't take like Apple Watches and every 40 million devices with you out into the woods. It doesn't have to be woods with trees. You can go out in a stream. I'm in New Mexico in the desert, so I can just walk in the desert and you see the sky. There's so many things that you can do, but when you go, concentrate on the sounds around you, like the birds chirping or the sound of wind going through the trees. Feel the sensation of the sun on your body, the smells. The point is to disconnect with your worries and your to-do list and to simply be present with the nature around you. There's also Indian yoga philosophy. Now, if you don't know, the yoga and the yoga classes people take, they're great, but that's not an Indian yogic practice completely. It's one part. So beyond the physical postures, yoga is a spiritual practice that integrates breath, movement, and mindfulness to create harmony between the mind and the body. Yoga is not just going to a class and getting into poses. It's an entire philosophy that includes breathing, meditating, and living a life of awareness and balance. So it's rooted in ancient Indian traditions, and yoga encourages self-discovery, discipline, and a connection to something greater than ourselves. It teaches that true well-being comes from aligning mind, body, and spirit, not just through movement, but through how we think, breathe, and interact with the world around us. There's also Qigong and Tai Chi. They're ancient Chinese practices that combine gentle movements, breath control, and meditation to cultivate energy and balance. So these practices are often referred to as moving meditations, probably because they are, and they're designed to harmonize the body's energy or its qi, and it promotes physical health and mental clarity. They're rooted in Taoist philosophy and Chinese medicine, and they emphasize flow, relaxation, and mindfulness. helping practitioners develop a deeper awareness of their inner and outer worlds. There are also many mysticism and contemplative traditions. Many traditions, from Christian mysticism to Sufism, they focus on direct spiritual experiences, meditation, and a deep connection with the divine. And I think you're getting a thread where meditation is going through all of these. I have a video meditation. I'll try to remember to link it in the description, or maybe I'll make that the video at the end also. So there are also sound and energy practices, chanting, sound baths, Reiki, and energy healing modalities. They help shift awareness and create a sense of peace. I know this can be getting a little woo sounding for some of you, but I got to tell you, I've been going to a healer for over a year, and I've had amazing results that talk therapy never would have gotten me. And I'm not putting down talk therapy. I think that's crucial, especially at the beginning when you're going into yourself, just to start speaking and to getting out, what it is that you have in you. But movement and energy modalities actually are really important. And if you don't know, we are all energy. Like quantum physics, science actually has proven all this. All we are is energy. So the key is to find the right healer, a person you connect with who has the right qualifications. Just taking a course doesn't make someone a good healer. So you need to be careful in finding the right person. And this has been personally my biggest stumbling block. I go in like, oh, well, they know more than me, so they must be great. And that's not necessarily true. And it's not always technical qualifications. It's just connection with the other person. So take your time in looking for someone if you're going to be delving into a very deep practice. I also want to note that I'm not leaving out Christianity or Judaism. I figure that most of you are familiar with one or the other or both. At their core, both of them offer spiritual frameworks that guide people toward meaning, reflection, and a connection with something greater than themselves. While they're most often categorized as religions, their spiritual dimensions through prayer, contemplation, and acts of service can be just as profound as any other spiritual path. So how can you find your spiritual path? If you're curious and you don't know where to start, here are a few simple ways to start exploring spirituality. And remember, this is a personal thing. Each of us do it differently, and that's perfectly fine. I think it's important to get a background and learn as much as you can of the modalities and the faiths and the spiritualities out there, and then you'll find that you gravitate toward one. With me, it was Tibetan Buddhism. I had a literal life-changing experience when I first saw His Holiness the Dalai Lama back in the 90s. And that was it for me. But for other people, it's watching a sunset, and they're both equally as valid. Okay, His Holiness. Well, okay, that was a bad example, but they are equally as valid. It's what is stirred up inside of you, and what that should be is love for yourself, love for others, love for the planet. So one thing you can do is take one action. Just try something as simple like journal. Just ask, like, who am I? Who am I? Can you answer that? You're not your body. Are you your thoughts? This is a very deep, profound meditation if you really get into it. You could do deep breathing. I mean, you could find YouTube videos on deep breathing. Or you can just set aside quiet time. I mean, that's a great start. I think it's in Denmark, they call it stikkerlafla. I don't know. There's a name for it. It's literally staring at the wall, and how restorative. And for the creative process and for figuring problems out, that's actually really important. And I'm sorry to anybody in Denmark. I'm not trying to demean you. I don't know how to pronounce the word. Okay, something else you can do. Try meditation or mindfulness. Oh, look, meditation again. And if that word scares you, just mindfulness. Just be mindful. 5 minutes. Just focus on what it is you're doing. I'm trying to be mindful here, but I seem to be going off on tangents. Just if you can get energetically what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to help you sort of see that you can be light about this. Doesn't have to be, oh, this is so serious. No, like, meditate on the chocolate chip cookie that you're going to eat in 5 minutes. And as I mentioned, I have a video meditation, so I'll link to it here. Another thing you can do, connect with nature. This is really important. I think people minimize and don't understand how important it is. Like, we are animals and nature is extremely important. So walk in the park, sit under a tree. I mean, nature grounds us. I used to live in the East Village in Manhattan, and this is the center of Cement City. There's not much green right there except for Tompkins Square Park. And it's only a couple city blocks big, but I would just wander through there and look at all the flowers and trees. So as an aside, in the center of Tompkins Square Park, in the middle of this like paved area, there's this huge elm tree that people call the Hare Krishna tree. So in the 1960s, this Swami, I'm so sorry, I cannot pronounce the name, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and forgive me, Hare Krishna's forgive me, but he began chanting the Hare Krishna mantra under the tree with his followers, and it was the first time it was spoken outside of India. Beat poet Allen Ginsberg was there, and that is now considered a sacred spot, and it was the birth of the Hare Krishna movement in the West. So also in the park, I mean, this is a really cool, crazy park, but there are two red-tailed hawks that live there. And at the time, it was Cristo and Dora. So I was fostering this small Chihuahua. I mean, he was ill. He was very, very small. So one morning, we went out for a walk, and I'm like looking at this beautiful flower, and I'm like, oh, something's behind me. And I turn around, and I'm not joking. It was like less than 6 feet away from me. One of the hawks is on a railing, like with his talons, and he's staring at me, and he's staring at the dog, and he's staring at me. And he stared at, I'm like, oh, shit. He's going to have, the dog's name was Ike at the time. He's going to have Ike for breakfast. So I backed up slowly. Of course, I took some photos, picked up Ike and like hurried out of there. It was totally cool. I mean, who would have thought they'd see a red-tailed hawk in the middle of New York City? Had I not had any mindfulness or awareness, I would have missed the experience. And this is another side note. If you want to connect energetically with the earth, either go barefoot or find shoes with leather soles. That's not easy to do. Like 99.99% of all shoes have rubber bottoms. That rubber blocks the energy that comes from the planet. Isotoner, they're like ballet slippery kind of things. Isotoner were the only leather bottomed shoes I could find. But just 15 minutes a day, if you're going to go sit in a park or if you have a place where you can walk around. I did that here in Santa Fe. There's this one little park toward downtown. It's all grass. I thought, oh, I'm going to walk through the grass. And I'm walking through and I'm like, dogs have been peeing and pooping in here. What am I doing? So I now, when I do it, just try to sit on a bench and I just put my feet on the dirt, the sand. So do what works for you. The other thing I think is crucially important, learn about different traditions. I mean, I fell into Tibetan Buddhism because that's what I really connected with. But I spent a lot of time like studying Zen. I would go to any type of talk. I've done a lot of, I've done Tony Robbins. I did Landmark. I mean, I've done not what I would call spiritual traditions, but alternative health, that type of thing. I do think it's really important. I remember I went to Alaska, did a family cruise, and I'm in Denali, and I'm standing there, and it dawns on me. I'm like, oh my God, I think I'm an outdoors person who never went outdoors. I lived in New York City most of my life. I mean, I'm from Delaware, but I never had the opportunity to explore being outdoors. And I still think I am, but I'm still too afraid to go camping. I know everyone out here does it. I will at some point. I need a nice bed and, I don't drink coffee, but a tea kettle. So anyway, you can start on YouTube, just Google around, go into a bookstore. Oh, there's a beauty in just wandering through a bookstore. So if you have any interest in Tibetan Buddhism, I'd suggest An Open Heart. It's a book by the Dalai Lama and Nicholas Vreeland. It was a bestseller. It's a great starter book. And at some point, I'll do a video on Tibetan Buddhism and give you more info. Another thing that's important is to find community. Spirituality does not have to be a solo journey. So seek out like-minded groups or retreats. In person is best, but there are online communities everywhere. Most importantly, remember, spirituality is a journey, not a destination. It's okay to evolve, question, and change paths along the way. I mean, as you grow, what you need and are searching for might change. And if you don't know where to start, you can listen to podcasts from Sounds True Or maybe look into someone like Wayne Dyer and his teachings. I would also say Marianne Williamson, I know a lot of you might know her from her running for president, but she used to speak in Manhattan, and I would go every now and then, and she's really good. So you might find talks by her. I mean, there's a lot of really good people out there. So before we wrap up, I'd love for you to take a moment and reflect. What does spirituality mean to you? Sit with that question this week. I mean, you might be surprised at what comes up, but journal it. Like explore, what is it? What is it you want that's deeper than yourself? So thank you for joining me on Hearth Talks. Remember, there's no right or wrong way to explore spirituality. It's about connecting with yourself, with others, and with the world around you. So until next time, love yourself and love life. Thank you.